Shah. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty brothers that go out there and labor on the highways and byways, making their body living sacrifice. In the rain, the tumults, the demons, the uprises, the uproars, they're out there standing 10 toes down for the name of the Lord. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty brothers that are not out there as of yet, but they're building themselves up. Reading, praying, fasting, right? Taking notes, being steadfast, doing everything they could do to possibly put themselves in a position to shake the hand, to wake up the hopeful elect. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty Akwaf, right? Sincerely reverencing their husbands, being teachers of good things to the children at home, being quiet, shamefaced, submissive, loving, steadfast, cooking, sewing, cleaning, doing all of the righteous acts of our foremothers on fire for the Lord. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty Akwaf that are not married as of yet, remaining shamefaced and submissive, right, and diligent until the coming of the Lord. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty children in this thing, abstaining from all lust and concupiscence and peer pressure, standing 10 toes down for the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And last but not least, another strong shalom to the whole entire nation, reading, praying, fasting, and being diligent. Right, this is going to be a breakdown on the life of a poor man, right? The life of troubles, the life of sorrow, the life of not paying bills, the life of being late on rent. Light bill may have went out. You can't pay your kids' tuition. You may not have food in the refrigerator. You may not know what to do. Your money's kind of extremely thin, if not all the way gone. You're damn near in a shelter. You don't really know how to survive. Times are getting rough. The society is increasing. The US dollar is dropping. And you're trying to figure out how you're going to survive out here, man. A lot of people are at that point. Well, man, do I work 2 jobs? It's hard enough as it is. Do I go back to school? Right? Do I live on the run? And do I be a vagabond? Do I move back in with my mother? How do I survive, man? Right? Do I get another wife to help? Because the economy is crashing? What do I do to make sure that I stand on my feet, man? That's why the Lord gave us comfort through the scriptures. All right, let me get this quick precept. Without the scriptures, we wouldn't have no direction. Because everybody would lean on their own understanding into destruction. Right? This is the book of Romans. Right? Chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written foretime were written for our learning. So when men increased in wisdom, men increased in knowledge, understanding, and carnal riches, men decreased in carnal riches. Men got all type of land masses and they were rich like Job, like Abraham, and like Isaac. And when men decayed and they lost all things, all of these things are written for our learning's sake, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. If you don't have patience and comfort, you'll never have hope. You'll never fully see the big picture that we're right close to the edge, that we're almost home, that the Lord is going to make a way when there is no way, man. Let me get this quick precept. Let's go to the mighty book of Philippians, right? Dealing with a poor man's life, poor situations and trials and troubles. This is the book of Philippians chapter 4 and verse number 8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of a good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things, man. A lot of brothers, they think on their troubles too much, right? They think on their problems too much. They think on their situation too much. And that bill is knocking on the door. He's calling you all times of night. That bill collected. Now you're starting to wax faint. Now the troubles of this life and the suffering thereof is getting to you. Now you're feeling like you don't have any hope, man. Now you start feeling like a loser, a nobody. Am I really a man? I can't even survive. I can't even support. Am I really a man? A woman? I can't even take care of my own children. What will my foremothers think of me? Now you start beating yourself down. You start to lose confidence. You start to lose strength. You start to lose hope. You start to lose the reasoning of why you were created, man. You were created to be in the Most High's image, not to have a bum mentality, not to think that you can never accomplish the smallest of matters. And the Lord said, if you have faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains, man. You have to actually believe that. I know brothers that haven't had a job for months, but they still keeping the faith. I know sisters that haven't had jobs for months. They still keeping the faith, man. Do I have a mentality to just survive off the government or to rob or go back in the world or be carnal, man. Your mentality should be hope and thinking upon things that are going to muster up faith and endurance and strength and guidance. These are the things you should be thinking on. You're thinking on how you're nothing, how I'm poor, I want a 2-bedroom house, I want my car by now, I'm in my 20s, I'm in my late 30s, I'm starting to enter to my 40s, and I still don't have things. Well, brother, you got to understand that your mind's not right. And you're going to slowly decay because you're laying up carnal riches of this world. You're covetous and you don't know it, right? It says this, jumping down to verse number 11. Not that I speak in respect of want, talking about Paul, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. So you got to always think it's people that are living in a worse condition as you. I mean, when you drive by there, homeless people in tents. There are people that don't have shoes on. People are getting chased by all type of demonic spirits out here, seeking shelter. They don't have any understanding. They're trying to figure out how not to get rained on. They're under buildings. They're under people's balconies. They're sneaking into establishments, right? Keeping the door open. There's so many things that people are actually catching hell that are actually poor are dealing with. Imagine not having shoes on and just walking. Imagine not being able to take a warm bath or a warm shower, man. Or a cold shower if you need so. Whatever the case may be. Imagine not brushing your teeth whenever you want to brush your teeth. Clothing yourself. Making sure that you have the ointments, the oils, and the different things to maintain your health, man. What if you didn't have that and all of that was taken away from you tomorrow? A lot of people would be carnal. They would steal. Spirits will hop on them. They'll start to envy. They'll start to hate. They'll start to reason why the Lord's hand is so strong upon them, man. Don't you know that somewhere, somebody is catching AIDS, man? That's the judgment from the Lord. Somewhere, somebody's mother just died. That's the judgment of the Lord. Somewhere, somebody's wife or husband just committed adultery. That's the judgment of the Lord. You have to also see, you know, is this the judgment of the Lord, man? I'm not working. I mean, the Lord has wrenched up and sealed up my funds to where I can't even feed myself. I thought the Lord said, give us thy daily bread, man, in the prayer of the Lord. You have to believe that. If you don't pray for daily bread and you're asking for a loaf, you're asking for Chipotle and wings and, oh, I can't survive, right? You're asking for macaroni and cheese. Hey, the Lord said in a prayer, give us thy daily bread, man. You should be content with the smallest of things because America has made man bougie. It has made you get the comfortability to ride a bus, catch an Uber, have a car. They didn't have these things in the ancient world. Your mind of poor, they would think maybe rich in the ancient world, man. They had mules, horses, oxes. They walked on foot, man. I was reading Acts earlier today, seeing how they was Paul, when they was suffering shipwreck, all hell was breaking loose, that Paul was mustering up to walk on foot before they took him on ship, man. So their mentality was different. So you have to be strong in this thing. It says, in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. I know both how to be abased and I know how to abound. So before you can truly abound into the kingdom, true riches, true knowledge, true things that the Heavenly Father can give you, you have to first be abased. And brothers don't want to be abased, man. They want to skip that step. That's why in a carnal sense, Jake always want to stunt when they're a rapper, when they finally touch that money. Because they've been drinking out of the faucet water for 18 years. They be eating Roman noodle soup for 15 years, man. They've been wearing the hand-me-downs of their little brothers and their little sisters for generations. So by the time they touch some money, they're blowing it and they're spending it, man. Because they ain't never have nothing. Now you have to take that same wicked mentality and metaphor that Jake does on the left-hand side and do it on the right-hand side. Brother, you've never had land. You've never had true riches. You've never had the amount of knowledge our forefathers have obtained through the mercy and first-hand teachings of Yahushua. So when you finally do get that by abasing yourself and being in this poor state, it'll mean the world to you. You can finally enjoy it. You can finally enjoy everlasting life, true riches and true desires, man, which is not gold and silver, right? It says, I know both how to be abased and I know how to abound. Everywhere in all things I am instructed, both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need, man. And it's good to suffer need sometimes. You know why? Because it makes you dependent on the Lord. If the Lord gave you everything you ever prayed for, I mean, would you truly say you had faith? Because faith is the absence of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So you have to say, if you're hoping and you have faith in something, you do not have it. You have not seen it. That's something to aspire to obtain every day through prayer, every day through fasting. That's why a lot of Jakes say the Bible is a manipulated book, because it has you to be able to die to get everlasting life. It makes you hope. It makes you have faith. No, I want mine now. I want my cake and I want to eat it too. I want my pie. I want my money. Those are the type of niggas that are going to be destroyed, man. Anything worth getting is worth waiting for, is worth patience, is worth an increase. Look at a husbandman. He doesn't throw his seed in the ground and he comes back tomorrow with a pitchfork and he pokes the finches in the ground and breaks down the cumbering and pushes the dirt and soil and looks for the increase immediately. With long patience does he yield up all that he's been waiting for. Let me get the book of Tobit, right? Chapter 4 and verse number 21. It's the book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse number 21. It says, and fear not, my son, that we are made poor, for thou hast much wealth if thou fear Yahweh. So don't fear if you're made poor, man. Being made poor is not a bad thing. That's the life of the saints. Peter was poor. Yahushua was poor, right? A lot of men of the Lord were, but Tobit was poor. There were very seldom men that were rich in the scriptures. You have Joseph of Arimathea, right? You have men that were high priests. They had palaces. You have men that had castles. You had men that had houses and vineyards like King David. You had men that had money and gold like Solomon. You understand, in ships and all type of things in the Navy port. But very seldom do you have a rich man, just living his everyday life. Because the Lord wants you to depend on him, right? Okay, Khan. Shalom, Yardan. Let me bring out this quick precept by the brother. Necessary patience and seeking the Lord is better than he that leadeth his life without a God. Man, that's a beautiful precept. Because you have to have necessary patience in seeking the Lord. The Lord can't give you everything immediately, man. And you don't know how you're going to handle what the Lord is going to give you the time and season he gives it to you. What if he would have brought you into the truth or gave you that knowledge when you were 20 years old? It may not have sucked with you. Man, too busy with strong demons in the world that you wouldn't have received it. What if the Lord would have brought you that truth at the wrong time and the wrong moment in the world? You may have cast it behind your back and never been in his truth. The right time or the right seed, the right season, the right amount of watering, the right amount of patience, the right amount of time, all of this plays a part in your increase, man. And Tobit was poor. Tobias was poor. It says, for thou hast much wealth if thou fear Yahweh, and depart from all sin, and do that which is well-pleasing in his sight. And you'll have much wealth if you do these things. Let me go to Sirach chapter 11 and verse 21. It's the book of Sirach chapter 11 and verse number 21. Right? And it reads, marvel not at the works of sinners, but trust in the Lord. A lot of people are too built on motorcycles, shooting a 3, having the latest Benz, Jaguar, Coupe, rings, diamonds, jewelry, all of these different things they're setting their mind upon. And they're marveling at the works of sinners. Don't you know that Mitch on, what's that movie, Paid in Full? They marvel at him. They make him an idol, man. They put him to the ceiling. They make him a god in the hood, man. They marvel at Michael Jordan. They marvel at all of these different so-called black athletes and entertainers, man. They marvel at the work of sinners. The dope boy in the hood with the big chain, shooting the dice. They marvel at all these things. It says, but trust in the Lord and abide in thy labor, for it is an easy thing in the sight of the Lord on the sudden to make a poor man rich. Man, it's an easy thing to be rich. Don't you know it's been times when I woke up and had thousands of dollars in my bank account, man? The government hit a damn glitch, paying me something from 2011, right? 2021, sitting up there waking up, trying to figure out where the hell this came from and praising the Lord in the process. Don't you know it's times where the government can seize your funds and snatch everything you have? It's been times you could walk down the street and then somebody could say, you know what? I have something for you. This is a gift, and bring out money out of nowhere. They're angels all around. And the Lord could take up the heathens, right, and give you favor in their sight, right? Like he did all of our fathers. Daniel was the first so-called black president. You have Mordecai, man. These type of men in captivity, the Lord made high. He gave them renown. He gave them wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, but he also gave them what? Clothing, jewelry, riches, a seat of honor. Look at Joseph in Egypt. Joseph went from being a slave to now ruling Egypt, man. Look how deep that is. So don't tell me on a sudden the Lord can't make a poor man rich, man. I've been poor and still am plenty of times. Plenty of times I've been denied. It's one time a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago, whatever the case may be, I've been on, and it's a sin to lie, I've been on 7 job interviews. Didn't get this one. Okay, all praise to the Most High. Didn't get the next one. All praise to the Most High. Didn't get the third one. Damn, should I change up? What should I trim my hair down a little bit lower? What should I do? Should I have wore blue or should I have wore white? Right, the 4th time. Right, no. 5th time, they're hiring. Everybody's getting hired. Just bring 2 forms of ID. Still didn't get it. The 6th time, I'm feeling like I'm cursed even though I already am, trying to figure out the reason of things. I'm praying to the Most High. I'm feeling in my mind, right, is it even worth going? Spirit started to try to hop on me to overthrow me in the strength process of my mind and my mentality. Is it even worth going? Did you not get the last 5, the last 4? You know they're not going to hire you. Went to it, didn't get it. The 6th one, the 7th one, still didn't get it. And I went to this thing, they were hiring everybody in the room. Everybody in the room got hired but me. They said, yeah, you used to work here 2000 and What happened? Yeah, XYZ. Yeah, this isn't gonna work out. Right? Scratch me off the list, kick me out, man. I was halfway filling out the paperwork. So the Lord could abase you, knock down everything you're trying to build, but then guess what? He could build you back up. He could give you a job, and it's gonna be better than the job that you are seeking and trying to get, that you had for 17 years, that you had for 5 years, that you had for 10 years. And the Lord gonna increase you. And he's gonna increase you, and he's gonna increase you. The Lord wants to see if you have faith. The Lord isn't beating you down to be a bully, to be some strong, invincible power that cannot be touched, just to play with the feeble and the weak, man. The Lord is seeing what you made out of. Just like a coach. Coach throw you in a game. He have you run drills. He have you go back and forth. But you know what the strongest muscle is, man? It's your mind. It's your strength to be able to endure. Endurance isn't how many stripes you get whooped on your back. Endurance isn't how many times you can run a lap or how strong you are an athlete. And carnal things of this world is if you can endure being broke, being poor, seeing your mother die, your father die, your wife leave you, your so-called husband leave you, your children pass away. The Lord take everything from you. It's the famine. You don't know what the hell to do. You don't have a compass. You're going off the spirit. Your brothers, they're somewhere pilgrims on the earth. And you're trying to figure out how you're going to survive through the faith that you have in the Most High, man. That's when your mind is tested. That's when you start to show strength. That's when you start to do those reps and it starts to burn. But you keep pressing, man, because you pressing toward the mark, right? It says this. Let me get this quick precept. Let me go to the book of Luke, right? It's the book of Luke, chapter 2, and verse number 7. It's the mighty book of Luke, chapter 2, and verse number 7. And it reads, "And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn." So the Lord was so poor and so broke in his family, Joseph and Mary, that they had to wrap him up in swaddling clothes and stick him in a manger, man, because there was no room in their house. Imagine being so poor, you don't even have a room. Not even a room, but you can't even be in a living room and kick it up on the couch and open it up and kick your feet up and relax. They have to take you into the barn in the backyard, man. Where all of the lizards, the roaches, the bugs, the mosquitoes, the roaches, and all of the different critters and raccoons and rats and doleful creatures and snakes and all of these things reside. And that's your life. No lights, no TV, no PlayStation. You have to think in the ancient world, it got dark fast, man. Right, depending on the season. And when those lights went out, there was no TV. There was no cellular phone. There was none of these things that Jake is accustomed to right now. And you had to deal with the condition of the battle, whatever it was. So the Lord was poor. And the Lord was rich, as we know through the Spirit. He's the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And upon him is the everlasting crown of glory. But he made himself poor. That should tell you something deep in the spirit, that it's okay to be poor. Stop beating yourself up like you're a loser and you're nobody. And you're an idiot and a broke boy. And the world paints man out to be this fast car driving, hoopty driving, 19 chain wearing, dope boy slinging nigga, man, with all of this money. And if you don't have that, you're not the success. You're not the model of success. Or if you're not in so-called black Hollywood, you're not an actor, you're not an athlete. These things, they kind of debase you in a society. They don't tell you that it's okay to be poor. You don't want to strive. Okay, I'm making $8 an hour. It is what it is. But hey, do you want this raise? I mean, all you got to do is just take this extra class. Nah, I'm $8 in, man. It's good for me. The life of a poor man. Read the book of Luke. You don't want to be a fool, right? You want to take opportunities and chances to increase yourself and your family. But you also have to understand, if everything is blocked out, there's no type of sense of climbing room or no sense of direction where to go and making more money, then don't soak in your miseries and your problems in a poor state, man. The Lord said this, because there was no room, right, for him in the manger. So Joseph, Mary, Yahushua, the children, all of their family, they were poor in that poor state, man. But being in a poor state is not a reason not to give. It's not a reason not to do the same things people do having money. When you go to the book of Luke chapter 21, this poor widow woman, she cast in all that she had. And that's spiritual. Because you may not have a lot at all, but you may give the little that you have. You may have a little time on your hands because of the work of the Lord. A little time on your hands because of work itself. A little time on your hands because of children. A little time on your hands, right, because of whatever situation, maybe taking care of your mother, whatever the case may be. But yet you take that little time on your hands and you make it profitable. You give as much as you can. A little money on your hands. You may have only had $5, $12, maybe 25, maybe 100, maybe 150 after a check to yourself. It's what you do with that money that makes it worth it, man. It's all about what you do. Right? It says, and he looked up and saw the rich men casting in their gifts into the treasury. So all of the rich men, they're casting in their gifts into their treasuries. And he saw also a certain poor widow casting in thither 2 mites. So she's poor. She's a widow. She's distressed. She's casting in what little she has. And he said, of a truth, I say unto you that this poor widow have cast in more than they all. She cast in more than they all because you can have $1 million and give 100,000 or 200,000. But then you can have a poor man with a sincere spirit, sincere right of mind, love of the Lord, love of the understanding that they're in, what they're dealing with, and how to increase with joy in this situation and glory through it, man. And only cast in $5.82. And then he run back to his car and he scrape up that 1 penny and make it 83 cents, man. And he going like this in the process, giving what little he has in the right spirit, in the right mind, with a faithful heart and zeal toward the Lord. You can ask somebody, I'll give you this, or I'll give you that. Or they'll do it before a man with a camera, online, in front of the whole world. These are the things the fools do. It says, for all these have their abundance cast in unto the offering of God. But she of her penury have cast in all the living that she had. And if you give all the living that you have unto the Lord, whether it be little or much, you're going to have great increase, man. Let me get this quick precept in the book of Acts. Acts chapter 3. This Acts chapter 3 and verse number 1. Now Peter and John went up together into the temple at the hour of prayer, being the 9th hour. And a certain man, lame from his mother's womb, was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, which is called Beautiful, and asked alms of them that entered into the temple. So you have this poor man. He's in a poor state. He's sitting on the side, right at the temple. He's asking alms. Just like Jake now, they got the billboard sign, feed me, pay me. I need clothes. I need shelter. Help me. In his poor state, looking up, trying to get some money. It says, who seeing Peter and John about to go in into the temple, asked in alms. And Peter fastening his eyes upon him with John, and looked on him, and gave heed unto them, expecting to receive something of them. So he's looking up earnestly from his lower state, as Peter fastens his eyes on him, and he on Peter. Then Peter said, silver and gold have I none, but such as I have, give I thee in the name of Hamashiach wa Malak Yahushua of Nazareth, rise up and walk. He said, look, I don't have no money, man. I don't have no gold. I don't have these riches of this world, man. But what I do have, that I will give. That's the heart of Peter. So you can give. It don't always have to be money. And even when you receive a blessing, it doesn't always have to be money either, man. Look how many blessings you got by just a video. How many blessings you got by a conversation, man. A brother may talk to you, man, and that may be all you needed. You was about to cut yourself. You was about to fall off the truth. You was about to give up. You was about to, go off with lust. You was about to watch that lewd video. You was about to bow down to that different doctrine and ideology. But that one conversation that the Lord has used another vessel to talk to you with has done all the matter, man. And that's how the Lord uses, man. Don't always expect for the Lord that you pray for money to get back money. The Lord may give you advice. He may give you a video to watch. He may give you a patience, endurance. He may increase that spirit on you to be more patient, to be more endurant about the matter, to endure more, man, to increase more and understanding the will of the Lord is not the will of you. The time frame of yourself is not the time frame of the Lord. And to understand that all things work for the good of him that praiseth the Lord, man. Paraphrasing great, that are called for his calling. Right, like it's in Romans, the 8th chapter. It says, and he took him by the hand and lifted him up, and immediately his feet and his ankle bones received strength. Now, I bet you if you would have asked this man, would you have rather have got $100,000 or 100,000 furtherlings or miles, whatever the case may be? Or would you rather rise up and walk because you're lame? I'm pretty sure he would have said rise up and walk. So the Lord could bless you in ways and give you things that money can't buy, man. I want faith more than all things. And then right under faith, right, I will have to diligently think and inquire on that matter. But I want to be perfect, man. I want to be perfect and have faith. That's one and the same. But I want to have faith. Then I have $1 million. Then I have $5 million or $1 billion. Or to have all things. You could keep the law perfectly, without spot and without blemish, and still not have faith. You can have faith that even though you fall by not keeping the law, you can still obtain the kingdom, huh? It says this, and he took him by the right hand, the spiritual, and lifted him up, and immediately his feet and his ankle bones received strength. And he leaping up stood and walked, and entered with them into the temple, walking and leaping and praising Yahweh, man. And that's the lot we have to understand, man. So even with the Lord and being poor, the Lord's not a respecter of persons. You can't say, well, I'm poor, the Lord's going to have mercy on me in my poor estate. You can't say, oh, I'm poor, I can't make it to camp, I don't have enough money, I'm poor, you know, my spirit's not right, I'm sad, or I'm poor, and you start making excuses. You start making bridges and breaking up, and now the pathway to the Lord starts to get foggy, starts to get harder to climb, harder to obtain, harder to walk on. The Lord's not a respecter of persons, man. He don't care if you're poor, if you lame. You can have a man in a wheelchair, man, doing crack. And I mean, you think the Lord is going, oh, okay, well, he doesn't have his legs. His mind's not right. Leave him alone. The Lord will kill you, man. Right, let me go to the book of Exodus, chapter 30 and verse 15. It says, the rich shall not give more, and the poor shall not give less than half a shekel. when they give an offering unto the Lord. So the Lord don't care, no matter if you rich. He don't care if you poor. He don't care what your estate in. Whatever he require, you better give it, man. You better give it your all reading. You better give it your all fasting. The Lord does not want you to give more chapters when you got a job and you're on vacation, you having a good time, you can read 7 chapters. But when you're poor, you're living out your car, you're in a shelter, for you to give less, because he's requiring the same as everybody that's walking, man. You can't think that you're going to get special treatment. The Lord is not with a sob story and a sob party, man. The angels don't get together and have sob stories and parties, man. And they all come together with tissues and they mourn and they sob. You know what they do? They stand and they watch. And they never faint. And they're always on call, always on duty, 24/7, week in, week out, night and day, doing the will of the Heavenly Father. No matter if they have to be made to go into a creature, whether they have to maybe made to hop into a tree, to have it to crunkle over, whether they're in the midst of fire and rain coming down from heaven, no matter if they're in the midst of an evil man committing lewd adultery, or whatever the case may be, no matter the lot of that angel, he's always on watch. He can't say, well, I'm not Michael the Archangel. I'm not Uriel. I'm not Gabriel. Or I'm just a low-level, angel that just stands in the river Euphrates to wait for a time, a day, a month, and a season. Right? No, they don't sob, man. The Lord's not inquiring that type of spirit out of man. It says, when they give an offering unto the Lord to make an atonement for your souls. So in the law, the Lord don't care if you're rich or you're poor. You better give what you can give, man. And you better make sure that you give according to the Lord, man. Because the Lord's going to require that of you. Don't sob and want special treatment. Right? People in the world, they say, man, take it on the chest. Take it on the chin. Man, you better suck it up. Hey, you better finish them greens. Right? All them little sayings that they got, man. You better be strong in this thing and quit and show yourself a man. That's what the Lord said. Now, granted, there will be times where you may cry, and that's okay, man. Maybe times where you feel like there's no way out. These are spirits that enter your mind. Nobody said that it was going to be easy. Nobody said it's going to be perfect, and that's the will, and just got to deal with it. No, it's you just read more, you pray more, you be more spiritual, be more stronger, man. This is the book of Job, chapter 36, and verse number 15. He delivereth the poor in his affliction and openeth their ears in oppression. Check that out. So the Lord opens up your ears to oppression when you're poor. Because how, if you're rich, can you really think that you're in captivity? How can you really think if you have all things, or you got a nice job, nice car, nice this, that, nice that you really want to get sweaty? Right? You really, the richer you are, the more bougie you are, man. Imagine if you had a damn 16-bedroom house and $1 million job. You think you're going to get out there and mow the lawn? No. You may say, well, I'm not sweating out there on my day off. No. Right? If you can afford it, he's going to mow the... You get more and more bougie. You get more and more in a state of mind to where you don't want to work for anything. You start feeling entitled. Everything's given to you. You start feeling like everything's for you and you can just take it whenever you need it. The Lord needs to open your ears, because maybe you need to hear something that you were too proud in that estate to hear. But the Lord had to abase you to open up your ears. Look, you're just a mortal woman. You're just a mortal man. You may have lost that nice contract with that job. May not have been able to pay that bill on your car, and now you have to take the bus. And every single day you're looking out the window thinking, damn, I used to have a car. Now I'm on a bus. Life was sure good when I had that car. All praise to the Most High. Most High willing I get that car back. Most High willing I remain strength. Most High willing, and then you just start saying Most High willing every other day. Every day. All praise to the Most High. You start to work for things. Then the Lord, slowly but surely, he starts to give it all back to you. That's what happened to Job, man. What happened to Job? Did the Lord just smite Job and beat him down for the hell of it, man? No. He did that because he knew how strong Job was. He knew the situation that Job could be put in the fire and he could obtain and handle that, man. And the Lord knows you can handle being poor. He knows you can handle being broke. He knows you can handle not being able to pay your bills on time. to be able to be strong in all things. So the Lord does what? He opens up their ears, right, to oppression. Even so, would he have removed thee out of the straight into a broad place, where there is no straightness, that which should be set on thy table should be full of fatness. Check that out. Let me go this quick precept to the book of Psalms. Chapter 8, chapter 9, and verse number 18. For the needy shall not always be forgotten. The expectation of the poor shall not perish forever. Because you may feel like you expecting something forever, man. And it feels like that, man. Like I said, I've been in a situation for weeks and weeks in the past where I'm just looking for that next dollar. I'm looking for that hope. I'm looking for that job opportunity. And I'm sure brothers and sisters can attest. I'm sure you've been down bad and you may not have had the stability of the job that you once had. Or you may have been at a low-level job, man. And there's nothing wrong with working a low-level job. There's nothing wrong with working at Wendy's, McDonald's, or whatever the case may be. You may have had that type of job, and it may have been low for you. You've been caught behind bills, and things get stressful. And you're just expecting something, waiting on something. The Lord said, for the needy shall not always be forgotten. The expectation of the poor shall not perish forever. And it's not going to perish forever. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 55, right? And verse number 6. And I said, oh, that I had wings like a dove, for then would I fly away and be at rest. And David is saying that in the spirit through the troubles of Babylon. You kind of wish that you had wings so you could fly away. You could get out of here. What would a life be without bills? And you don't just have one bill. You got your phone bill. You got your car note. You got your insurance. Or some brothers, they pay child support for kids they had in the world. All right, some brothers, they get hit with a flat tire out of nowhere. The mechanic saying, you need a bugger-dugger-logger-lager. You saying, what? Yep, you need the screw, you need a gugger-lager. So what is that? Right? Well, if you go to the book, and then he whip out this big fat book, and then he start to go to page 9004 to show you the Fokker-Lager calculator. And this right here is $400. How you want to pay? You sitting up there, how the hell am I going to get to work? Never even heard of what the hell he's talking about. Your bank account is negative 200. You already promised you was going to take your wife out on a date. You ain't spent time with your children in 2 weeks. You promising them this summer you're going to take them to Disney World, right? To the splash park, to the pool. You trying to figure out why now? Why me? Right? Like the brother said, you got light bills, house rent. You may have to take care of your parents when they get older. Right? You may get injured, toothache, back problems. You may have to have a surgery out of nowhere. You may not have insurance. It's 1,000 things with 1,000 bills at 1,000 times at the 1,000 right moments that it's going to rush you like a flood, man. And you wish you could just fly away to the land of milk and honey, to the land of green grass, where the shepherd leads you, where you never have to worry about a problem in a situation ever again, man. And that's how we feel, man. Because we're subject to payments, and you have to pay taxes. I mean, every time I blink, I'm spending money. Every time I blink, I got to eat. I got to spend money. I mean, other bills that may be personal for you and personal for me. I mean, just every 5 seconds is something that's in your pocket. It's like you got a demon just going like this, right? And you're going like that every 5 seconds, but the demon just keep ripping your pockets open and ripping your pockets open, man. You have to have your rib sew your pockets shut. And after she finished sewing them shut, you got that demon with that big hand ripping your pockets right back open, man. It says, lo, then would I wander far off and remain in the wilderness. So he said, look, if I would get up out of here, I would get the hell up out of here and I would never come back. I would hasten my escape from the windy storm and tempest. So whether that be your marriage, that's a windy storm and tempest. Whether that be emotional distress and anxiety, whether that be bills, somebody's dealing somewhere with what? a storm and a tempest, man. They're in it right now. But you know how you're going to see them? With dry clothes on, with a smile on their face, hiding all of their problems and all their situations. That's why it's good to talk to brothers, man. Are you okay? Is everything all right? Yeah, everything's all right, but no, brother, really, what's going on? It's good to have open up with brothers, man. Now, the world calls it venting. The world calls it therapy. The world may call it all of these different things, but we call it checking on your brother, man. Caring for the saints, caring for the flock. You need to do that from time to time. Sisters need to do that too, man. Sisters need to check up on one another. Make sure that they're healthy. Their mind is right. It's not always about your vessel all the time, man. Somebody see you bleeding on a physical level, they're rushing in with a first aid kit. They're rushing in with bandages, with Neosporin, with alcohol, with all type of things that sew you up, disinfectant, and all things that make sure that you're okay. But spiritually, people don't even check for your wounds. They don't check for your problems, your stripes, your blood stains. A lot of people are walking around damn near dead, man. Back out of joint, lip busted, ear halfway hanging off, crooked. All type of ailments and diseases spiritually that you can't see physically, man. It says, let me read that again. I would hasten my escape from the windy storm and tempest. So David said, man, I would get up out of here if I could, man. Let me get this quick precept. Let's go to Genesis. Let's see about our father, Jacob, man. How did Jacob deal with his situation? Because Jacob wasn't necessarily rich, man. He had to work for his wives. He had to work for the things that he had. Isaac increased in the land, right? But what about Jacob? This is the book of Genesis, chapter 30 and verse number 25. And it came to pass, when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, send me away, that I may go into my own place and to my country. So he said, look, I want to go into my own place. I don't want to live off of you. I don't want the things that you have. And Laban had money, man. Laban had a situation where he can give him higher in that situation. Jacob didn't have all riches and all things. He wouldn't have worked. He wouldn't have did all of that. He would have just took his wife and been on his merry way. But what happened? Laban had money, but Jacob didn't necessarily have any money. And he was living under them. Now, when you jump, I'm not going to read the whole thing. When you jump to verse 42, it says, but when the cattle were feeble, right? I'm going to start at 27. This whole thing is fire. I'm going to say 27, 33, and 42. It's 27. And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thine eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that the Lord hath blessed me for thy sake. Meaning when Jacob comes around, it's a blessing. And Laban can see that. The sheep flourishing, the goats flourishing, things in order, the Lord shining upon the crops and things. And he can see, well, I'm getting an increase when Jacob is around. Verse 33, so shall my righteousness answer for me in time to come. That's Jacob's mentality, that my righteousness is going to answer to me. No matter if I'm shot, if I'm poor, if I'm broke, if you've been righteous and you've been holding it down in the spirit, you're going to get that right back out in the day of visitation. It says, when it shall come for my hire before thy face, every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats and brown among the sheep, thou shalt be counted stolen with me. Check that out. And Laban said, behold, I would that I might be according to thy word. So they said, well, you know, let's see which one are going to be the strongest cattle, the strongest sheep, the strongest goats, the ring spotted, the feeble, and all that the case may be. Jump into verse 41. This is the point. But when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. So the feebler were Laban's and the stronger Jacob's. And the man increased exceedingly. How did Jacob go for needing money, being hired under Laban, doing all of these different things, to suddenly increasing exceedingly and have much cattle and maidservants and men servants and camels and asses, man? How did he do that so fast? Because it's an easy thing in the sight of the Lord to make a poor man rich immediately, on a sudden. It didn't have to take 15 years. You don't have to map out some 401k, go to school for 8 years to become a doctor, 10 years, go to a degree in law school and all these theologian breakdowns and go on these ancient books. You blow all of the books off to try to find out the matter of this, man. All you have to do is be patient, pray, have faith, and the Lord is going to give you that increase. The Lord said, and the man increased exceedingly. And that man is you, because you are Jacob. You are a prince of the power of God. You are that same man that was patient. You are that same man that slept with his head on a rock. That's a man, man. You're that same man that endured all things through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You're that same man that went on a journey and told the Lord, if you will be my God, then this will happen, man. In the book of Genesis, the 28th chapter, man. Last 3 verses. It says, and had much cattle, and maidservants, and men servants, and camels, and asses, man. So the Lord will give you that increase. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 3. Right? It's the mighty book of Luke, chapter 3, and verse number 12. It says, this whole thing is fire. It says, then came also publicans to be baptized, and said unto him, Master, what shall we do? So they're trying to figure out, look, we want to be baptized. What do we got to do to get baptized? And he said unto them, exact no more than that which is appointed you. And the soldiers likewise demanded him, saying, and what shall we do? And he said unto them, do violence to no man, neither accuse any falsely, and be content with your wages. So what did he give the advice to men to be baptized? Is to be content with your wages, man. Be content with your wages, man. Whether that be $17 an hour, whether that be $22 an hour, whether that be $20 an hour, whether that be $25 an hour, man. And you could be on the upper scale, maybe on 30 on up, man. $40 an hour. Be content. Don't be covetous. Don't be angry. Don't be envious. Don't move in a spirit that's going to take you away from the Heavenly Father. Let me read that again. Do violence to no man, neither accuse any falsely, and be content with your wages, man. Right? And I want somebody on the chat, the live, to look up the word content and put the definition right in the chat, Baba Gashar. If you could look up the word content, right, and put the definition in the chat, that'll be mighty through the spirit. Because we got to look up these words. Because the Lord told you to be content with your wages. That's a very important thing, to be content. Because if you're not content, you're going to be overthrown. Let me get this quick precept in the book of Proverbs. Right? It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 30. Right? So I can bear with me. And verse number 8. I'm going to start at 7. Right? If a brother could give me the definition, or a sister could give me the definition of content, that'll be mighty. It's Proverbs 30 and verse 7. 2 things have I required of thee. Deny them not, Salakia, deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. So, I mean, the life of an ideal man is not to have poverty or to have riches. You don't want to be rich because you'll deny the Lord. You won't have that same subject to hope feeling. You don't want to be poor and beyond poor to the fact that you're stealing and you're lusting for money and you're lusting for this and you're mooching and you're begging and you're moving in a spirit that's not of the Lord, man. It says, feed me with food convenient for me. That's being content because it's convenient for you. You don't always need steak dinners. You don't always need chicken, then it's dipped in a special different sauce. Right? You have the Asian zing. Right? Then you got the honey buffalo, man. Then you got the barbecue sauce. Then you got the lemon pepper. Then every day of the week, you're just switching up that sauce. And you just getting bougie, man. It says, convenient for me, lest I be full and deny thee. Because if you had a lot to eat, and you just go and burp and go to sleep. Who's the Lord? And that's going to be your spirit. Who is the Lord, man? Or lest I be poor and steal and take the name of my God in vain, man. Check that out, man. Okay, the water. We got the brother, right, Benaniah. He put it in the chat. right? It says, content in a state of peaceful happiness. And that's a beautiful definition, man. If you're content with your wages, you're content, and it's peaceful and happiness to you, man. Because you could still eat every day. You could clothe yourself. This is not your rest. A lot of Jake, they're doing that maneuvering position, like when you get in bed and you go like this. You're trying to get comfortable, trying to get that spot, trying to get that pillow, and you're pluffing it up. You're kicking up your bed in Babylon, man. This is not your rest. Stop trying to get comfortable here. Stop laying all your eggs in one basket in Babylon, man. It says, content, a state of satisfaction. And you gotta be satisfaction in the fire, in the furnace. That has to be a satisfaction for you, man. Like the men of the Lord, man. Right? Let me get this quick precept. Let's go to the mighty book of Luke chapter 5 and verse 27. And after these things, he went forth and saw a publican named Levi, right, which is Matthew, sitting at the receipt of custom. And he said unto him, follow me. So he told him to straight up, get up and follow me. And he left all, rose up and followed him. So there's no account of Matthew saying, I'll be back tomorrow. Matthew got up from his job immediately and he left, man, and followed the Lord. A lot of brothers, you may have to leave your job or leave your financial comfortability because of the Sabbath day. You have to make a decision. Do I follow the Lord and follow all that the Most High is going to put me through? Temptation, struggle, all type of vexation of spirit, trying to figure out where he's leading me and I don't know, it's dark, but yet I still have light? Or am I going to keep my bed, my pillow, my lounge, my lazy boy, my comfortability, my couch in this situation in Babylon, man? And that's the decision you got to make sometimes. But what did Matthew do? He rose up and immediately he fled, man. And he followed the Lord forevermore. That's the spirit you got to be in, to follow the Most High. A lot of people say they're going to follow Yahushua, but as soon as Yahushua may go on water, may go in the midst of a desert or a rainstorm or a blizzard or some type of terrain, and following him, you start to double think if you're going to follow him or not, man. Where's the scripture where the Lord is just going to lead you on sunny days all day? Follow my sunny day trail. And then you just on a sunny day trail as a sheep, just eating up all of the grass that your heart could wish. Those going to be times where you may suffer very seldom and smallly through a famine in different situations to overcome. It says, check this out, 29. After Levi left, right, which is Matthew, got up, left his job and followed the Lord. This is verse 29. And Levi made him a great feast in his own house. And there was a great company of publicans and others that sat down with him. So immediately when he left his job, he made a feast about it. He didn't cry about it. He didn't say, well, let me go consult the so-called white man. Let me go figure out what the white man has to say. No, he made a feast. Don't you know the joy, the laughter, your heart is your strength, man? The joy of the Lord is your strength. Have a good countenance. Don't always be down and sorrow and sad and mopey, man. If it's the feast days, you better blow the hell out of that chauffeur, man. And don't worry about these problems and these situations and these bills and these demons and these spirits and these problems and these travails. You better turn up, man. I remember when I was younger, man, my grandma, she used to always say shaking the leg, man. Yeah, I'm shaking the leg. Yeah, we're going to shake the leg tonight. That's turn up. That's her old lingo and old slang of turn up, man. We about to shake a leg tonight. We shaking the leg. Where mom at? She out shaking the leg. She out having a good time. She used to always say that when I was a kid, man. She used to always have that countenance to have fun, to be optimistic, not to look at things on a downgrade, but look at all the good of all the times that you can have, man. Play cards with your family. Sip a little wine. Watch a movie with your wife. Enjoy the little bit that you have in captivity, man. And stop letting these problems weigh on you. Because all they are is sin, and all they are is weights. Like it says in Hebrews, the 12th chapter. Let us lay aside every weight that doeth so heavily besought us, man. And let us run the race. Let me get that real fast. Because you willingly putting all these weights on you, you're not going to be able to run. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to fall out this thing through the heat and the exhaustion of this life. I mean, everybody's not cut out to be in this truth, to be honest with you. A lot of people are weak. They're just weak. It's just not, and they're willingly weak. They don't fast harder. They don't go harder. They don't cry harder. They don't read more. They don't deny themselves and their body and their flesh and their mind. Right? They're too busy caring about this world and how they feel, and it overthrows them. And they get choked, like it says in Mark, the 4th chapter, and they yield no fruit. It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, and verse number 12. It's like verse number 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight. Every weight is a problem, a situation, a trial. And we have them on us daily, man, as yokes. Bills, yoke, problems, situations, ailments, right? Demons, right? A fight breakout, car problems. These are all yokes and all things that lay upon us. But also, the heaviest yoke is sin. That's what lays on us the most, man. We have to take sin off and be yielding as servants to righteousness to do the will of the Lord. Let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doeth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. So we're all on a race. And in this race is so much terrain that we're going to have to cover, which is going to be hard out here, man. All right, let me get the book of Proverbs 13. Going into a poor man's life. What should I do? How should I act? How am I going to survive? How much faith should I actually possess and have? What am I going to do? Right, let me get this quick precept. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 13 and verse 7. There is that maketh himself rich, yet have nothing. So people make themselves rich, but yet they don't have anything. It says, there is that maketh himself poor, yet have great riches. And that's a deep precept, man. There is that maketh himself rich. You can make yourself rich in this world, man. If you lay all your heart and treasures in your job, lay all your heart and treasures in your children, that's your preeminence. That's your glory. That's your honor. It's just your children. You don't read because you're the #1 dad. You're out at all the soccer games and the basketball games and the football games and all of the practices. You're breaking the Sabbath day. You're doing all things to go to hell off, man, for your children. That's a demon. That's a spirit. You're making yourself rich toward things in this world. Now, anything you put in, you're going to get out. You may put in, let's say, being a carver or a carpenter. And every day you're carving wood. What do you think you're going to get out of that? You're going to start to increase in it. You're going to get more talented. You may shape a ball to perfection one day. You may be able to make cubes and blocks to where they perfectly fit. You may be able to sculpt a chair. You may be able to make all type of spoons and different instruments and hammers or whatever the case may be. You'll start to increase in that. But you're rich toward carnal things. You may sew all day. You may increase in your sewing understanding and abilities. You may work out all day. You may increase physically and be rich in the flesh. Right? You may increase in many things. You may play the lottery all day or whatever you put your heart in to make yourself rich in this thing, you're not going to have anything because you're poor. You're wretched. You're naked. Like it says in the book of Revelations, man, the 13th chapter, verse 16 all the way down. It says, and there is that maketh himself poor. How do you make yourself poor? Does that mean you quit your job? You casted away everything? You took your wallet, you threw it in the middle of the street and all of the ones flew out, man? No. How do you make yourself poor? By denying this world. By denying that job opportunity. By denying the ability to be able to make more money through wickedness. By denying yourself your fleshly lusts and desires that would have gained you flesh in this world and things in this world, but it would deny it and cut down the spirit. I'll make myself poor, man. I don't care about, it was a job, right? I said, we'll pay you XYZ an hour. Just come in on Saturdays. We'll give you your own office, your Bluetooth headset, and all you got to do is go like this. You just tap it 2 times, right? And you good to go, right? Breakfast, spread every morning. Blueberry, muffins, right? Cakes, yogurts, and all type of things for your desire. French toast, waffles, turkey bacon. We don't do the pork in this office. All turkey, just turkey. They put turkeys all on the wall. Right, Monday is turkey day. Tuesday is beef day. Wednesday, they know your diet. It's goat day. They do all of these just enticing you. Right, you got marble wood floors. Right, and they're going to give you a so-called expense card to buy your work wardrobe. All you got to do is come in on Saturdays. And then they throw you a party in the office. Right, you think you're coming in for a meeting, but you're actually coming in for your surprise offer letter in front of the whole office. And then they got a little cupcake with a candle. And it says #1 employee. Then they present it toward you. Right? And all you see is smiling faces and suits. And everybody with Confederacy and balloons. Right? And then upon a billboard, they got your name written in cursive. What is blah, blah, blah going to say? Smiley face. And you have to make a decision, man. Are you going to deny yourself and be poor in this world and not take the opportunities that Satan will present you? Or are you going to cleave in the desires that make your flesh flat and your mind fat and take that desire, man? It says, there is maketh himself poor, yet having great riches. And once you deny that offer, once you deny that opportunity, once you deny whatever that is, and a lot of women, they sleep with other men just to get things. That's making yourself rich in this world, but poor towards the Lord. Once you deny that job and these opportunities, guess what? You'll be rich toward the Lord. And you'll have all type of riches, maybe another mansion, another acre of land. Who knows, man? The more work you put in, you may just be putting on another acre. 12,000 more cattle, 1,000 more wives. And you're just building up your riches day by day, by denying your flesh, by denying your desires, and being strong in the spirit of the Most High. Right? Let me get this quick precept. Let's go to Sirach, chapter 10, and verse 21. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 10, and verse number 21. And it reads, I'm going to start at 21. The fear of the Lord goeth before obtaining of authority, but roughness and pride is the losing thereof. Check that out. Whether he be rich, noble, or poor, their glory is the fear of the Lord. So your true glory is the fear of the Most High. Don't gloat yourself on what you have, man. It could all be taken from you. It could all be taken from you. And Jake got that type of spirit. Once they get a new haircut, a new chain, a new outfit, they start feeling themselves, man. You got a new earring, a sister got a new hair wrap, they got a new dress, they taking pictures, they feeling themselves. Right? You got a new watch, you kind of scratching. Don't nothing itch right here, just scratching it. Always looking to the left, always looking to the right. Wherever that new that watch is, you're always pointing for some reason, man. Did you say something? Did you say something? No, not you, you. No, not you, you. Right? You're just pointing for no apparent reason. And just to have your watch shining, man. That's off. Let me read this again, man. Right? It says, whether he be rich, noble, or poor, their glory is the fear of the Lord. So no matter what it is, your true glory is the fear of the Most High God, man. Not your glory in this world and the things that you possess. So if you act like that now with your little outfit, your little chain, and your little car, how would you act if you was a millionaire? Now that's the true question. If Jake had riches right now and they could quit their job and be set for life, how hard would you really go for the Lord? It's the book of Sirach, chapter 13, and verse number 23. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue. When Joe Biden speaketh, when Donald Trump speaketh, when Denzel Washington speaketh, when these men and these elites and these so-called people of high authority start to speak and run their mouth, everybody wants to listen. Because they may give them carnal gain. They may tell them how to go to this class and get this opportunity, how to meet this person, how to hook up with this agent to obtain things that they want on an earthly level. And look what he saith, and exalt it to the clouds. But if a poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And he is stumbled, they will help overthrow him. So when you're poor You get helped to be overthrown, man. Let you lose your job. Your mother gonna laugh at you. Your father may laugh at you. Your wife may despise you. You can't keep no job. You ain't nothing. Dang. Are we ever gonna be like this? We gonna always be like this in this estate? Your kids scoffing. I never have presents. I don't go out. I don't go on vacation. When a poor man fall, it's like his heart falls too. Because everybody around him is going to do one thing. They're going to help to overthrow him. Whether that be spiritually, his spirit, help overthrow him physically, right? Let a rich man fall. He can go to these rich parties and they can do a fundraiser for him. And he'll be right back to that rich status in no time. They throw fundraisers for one another, man. And they name it in the name of the poor just because somebody hit a low stock in the stocks and bonds in Richard, right? Richard Ellington, right? The rich elite white man somewhere, Richard Ellington, he put all his stocks on whatever the case may be and it crashed. You know what his rich friends are going to do? They're going to build him back up. They're going to throw 4 fundraisers and they're going to name it in something that's not the truth and they're going to build him right back up, man. They have pyramid schemes. They got all type of things that keep the rich that continue to flourish. I don't know if you've seen Batman. It was a Batman. I think it was one of the original ones. One of the first I think it was Batman Returns or something, where so-called Bruce Wayne, it was the guy running for office. And he said, look, I'm going to throw you one fundraiser. One fundraiser for me, and you'll never have to ask for treasury or votes again, or whatever he said. And he just went like this. Like he was going to make it happen, man. So these rich people, they have money flowing in their communities. Look at Amalek. It says, riches are good unto him that have no sin. So if you have no sin, then it's profitable for you to have riches. But if you have sin, it's not profitable for you to have riches. Think about it. Because you're going to fulfill the lust of your flesh. And poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly. I'm going to read that again 2 more times for completion. And poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly. And poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly. So if you're ungodly, you're always going to be crying about poverty. You're always going to be whining. You're always going to be complaining. You'll never be content. You'll never be satisfied if you're ungodly. But if you're godly, you're going to take the situation the Lord put you in and excel in it, man. If you're ungodly, oh, my life, oh, my heart, my mind, my nails aren't done. My toes haven't been done in weeks. I want to get my hair done. It's dictating your spirit. It's overthrowing your mind. Your spirit not right. A brother, I mean, I've been wearing these kicks for a whole year, man. All your friends got new shoes. You're looking around. Brother, you're ungodly, man. Because when did the Lord ever care about shoes? Care about your raiment, your clothes? When was that ever in the precepts, man? Yeah, you want to feel good, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But you don't want to have that to dictate you, and it's evil in your mouth. Because the Lord gave you that situation. The Lord put you in that dilemma, or whatever the case may be. The Lord have you suffering in poverty. Being broke, as they say, man. Let me read that again. Riches are good unto him that have no sin. Check that out. And poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly. The heart of a man changeth his countenance, whether it be for good or evil. So your heart is going to change your countenance. So it's going to be dictated how you truly feel by your countenance of your heart. Your heart's really sad, sorrowful. No matter how much mirth is going on and fun and dancing and charades and mirth and gladness, it will be showing forth your countenance upon your face. And your face will always be right. You doing that I don't want to laugh spirit. Don't every so-called black man do that. Just do the fake laugh. Holden is laughing because he's so depressed. Catches so much problems. He's vexed as hell. And everybody knows it. Right? He's sitting up there. No, if your countenance is cheerful toward the Lord, hey, laugh. Have a good time, man. Forget your sorrows. And the Lord told you for the day, I don't want to paraphrase it too much. Let me just get it. Let tomorrow wait for itself. Right? Paraphrasing extremely greatly, man. Let me get that in Matthew chapter 6. Sitting up there worrying about tomorrow. It's the book of Matthew chapter 6. Right? And this whole thing is fire. I'm going to read 25. And it reads, Therefore I say unto you, take no thought of your life, what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body. And that's hard for a lot of people, man, to take no thought in that. A lot of people there with 9-year plans. What do you want to be in the next 5 years? They're trying to figure out all of these different things, and now they're mapping out their whole life, and they haven't asked the Lord any counsel. They're just moving in their own spirit. Nor yet for your body, yet we shall put on. Is not life more than meat, and the body than raiment? You got to ask yourself that, man. Life is more than what you consume in it. This is just temporary. This is a temporary situation that we're living in, man. These trees going to be gone. The grass, the people, right? These buildings, this establishment, that proud flag hanging in the sky. All of these different things are going to be shot down and destroyed by the missiles and the nukes, man. It says, Behold the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap. Meaning the birds of the air, they don't have a 401k. They don't have a secret berry nest where all of their berries that have been putting in for generations and generations from their forefathers and forefathers, man. It says, neither gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they? And name me a time where a bird, it was just 1,000 birds just squawking because they ain't eating 4 days, man. I've never seen that. You know what a bird does every day? He wakes up, he flies out wherever the Spirit of the Lord is going to take him, and he's going to eat every single day. He's going to be clothed every single day with his nest. He's going to have shelter every single day from that storm. He's going to find a way because the Lord is leading him. The Lord is making sure that he's okay. He's not worrying about what the pigeon is doing, right? If he's a crow. Or the crow isn't worrying about what the dove is doing. The dove isn't worrying about what the stork is doing. The stork isn't worrying about what the eagle is doing. The eagle isn't worrying about what the kine is doing. These different birds aren't worrying about each other like man worries about man. Well, she has 4 kids. She has an apartment. She has a house. She has 2 cars. I only have 1. She has this. This brother, he has, a Mitri, right? A diadem, a car. And you know how to teach, man. Man, F that brother. I only have this. I only have that. You start to move in a covetous spirit. They don't worry about these things. All they worry about, right, is chirping and praising the Lord, man. This verse 27. Which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit unto his stature? And that's a serious question. Who by thinking too much is going to pay that bill? You're just worrying and sweating. Then they're going to evict me tomorrow. All of that time worrying, you could have been praying. You could have been declaring a fast. You could have been getting in a situation to strengthen up your faith, man. By worrying, can you add a cubit to your stature? And why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow, they toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Wherefore, if God so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith? The Lord called men and women in this situation, O ye of little faith. You have a little amount of faith if you don't believe that the Lord can take you out of these situations. We touched on briefly Joseph. We touched on Jacob. We touched on rich men like Abraham. We touched on men like Job, man. We touched on situations of men being poor like Peter, like Yahushua. Men receiving things that the money can't pay for, like when you read the book of Acts, the 3rd chapter. We've touched on men being poor. Look at Tobit and Tobias. We've touched on these things. These men have faith. And through that faith, they're going to obtain what? The promises. They're going to obtain all the things that the Heavenly Father has promised them. Wherefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or wherewithal shall we be clothed? And that may seem impossible. That may seem like a man that doesn't have faith or understanding or the spirit of the Most High, like bad counsel. What do you mean don't take no thought about what we're going to eat? What we're going to drink? You got to think about that, man. A lot of people, they set their food, they take it out at night, two days in advance, and put it in the refrigerator so it could decay, right? The frost. And they can make sure that they'll be okay, man. Right? For the next 2 days, because they plan on cooking a chicken, man, or that stew, whatever the case may be. Hey, the Lord said, man, don't get too deep in this thing. Don't worry about this world and how you're going to live in it. Just take care of today. Have faith. Have a plan. Don't be a fool, but don't let a plan dictate and move in your life to where that's your counsel and leaning on your own understanding for your direction, right? It says this. It says, therefore take no thought, saying what we shall eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed. For after all these things do the Gentiles seek. That's what Esau is thinking about. Ishmael, Japheth, Moab, Ammon, all of these different beasts of the field. That's their mentality. For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. The Lord knows what you need, man. The Lord knows you late on your bills. The Lord knows what your chief demon is. The Lord knows your problems, your stress, your anguish. The Lord knows you haven't read in 3 days. The Lord knows you haven't fasted in 4 weeks. The Lord knows your situation, man. Don't think the Lord only sees, right, when you smoke weed or get high or fornicate or when you're on fire. The Lord sees all things in between. When you wake up, your dreams, your thoughts, right, your reins, your mind. He's all in you, man, because he literally moves you. He moves all flesh. So the Heavenly Father, he knows these things. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So all of these things that we pray for, that we ask, that we move in, the Lord said he will give it to you, man. And you have to believe that. So be patient in your lower state. Continue to strive forth the kingdom. Continue to pray. Continue to have faith. And above all, man, keep these precepts with the faith of Yahushua. That's the only way you're going to prosper. Not by lottery tickets, not by loans, not by asking money out the treasury, right? Not by being carnal and hitting the lick, not by leaning on your own understanding, not by opening up that crooked business, right? Not by doing anything that's out of the way of Yahweh in the name of his son, Yahushua. But with that, I want to close out, giving all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem HaMashiach, Malak Yahushua. Lord willing, this was edifying. Shalom.